Hello, welcome to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. I'm back to talk more about kindergarten math. I don't think you have to go buy a curriculum or anything for kindergarten. Personally, I'm just going to be focusing on building number sense and basically not making them hate school straight off the bat. I think a lot of, kindergarten, math in general is just kind of dead. Like the way that it's presented, it's just all flat and two-dimensional on paper. And I know a lot of that is just to make it affordable. Like it's just a lot cheaper just to print stuff on paper than to teach kids to actually do something that involves math. Like, I don't know, build something or make change or, do you know what I mean? Like more functional skills. Like it's just become very abstracted and just dead. To me, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I know some kids don't have a problem with it, but I think they would enjoy it if it was a little bit more true to life. But I do understand they need to be able to show their work on paper eventually, and we're working on building certain skills, and you are going to want to probably put them into a math curriculum at some point. So you need to be leading them so that you will be able to transfer, into a more traditional program. My advice, I'm not saying you have to do everything I do or I'm doing it exactly the right way, but just my way of thinking is if you can think about where you want to go, where you want them to end up, like what is going to be the handoff point. These are my favorite math books, and they are kind of hard to find, because they're old or they're vintage, and there's actually a third one too. But I have not been able to find a third one to buy. But I started, with Beauregard into Number Stories, book 1. I think you can find this. I'm pretty sure I've linked it before. It's in the public domain, so you can print it. And I'll try to find it again. There are other vintage math programs that are free that are, I think, good. I just really like this one the best, personally, because of the there's stories in it, and it's color. It's really going to keep their attention, and the kids actually want to look in these books. Okay, so I started in preschool with Number Stories 1. We mostly just used in the beginning, and I'll see if I can find I think I have some preschool math videos. I'll link them in the description box. But, we just tried to be familiar with the one-to-one between figures and amounts of things. So basically, Bo, knew all his numbers up to 30. He could count out 30 objects one-to-one, and then we actually bought a set of number rods. These ones, I love them. And we started practicing making those numbers. So he understands that it's 10, 13 is 10, and then a 3 and 3. And so we're already kind of introducing the idea of place value. It's 110, and I have them line it up where on the left, and 3 ones. 10, 3, it's 10 and 3 is 13. He understands that really well. He understands that 25 is 2 10s, 5. He actually caught on to that skill. It was a lot actually easier than I thought it was going to be. It just kind of seemed to naturally come. We started out with counting sticks, which I choose popsicle sticks. We did all the things this is 5, and we could count out 5 things, and we could write the number 5. We made play foam into the number 5. We just did a lot of stuff until we played memory with flashcards with the numbers. And again, I'm sure I've talked about this stuff before in previous videos. I'll try to link them below. But so when I just felt like he was ready to move on, I didn't want to just wing it. You could just try to find a list of skills, kindergarten math skills, and go for it. But most of what's out there you're going to find in lists are Common Core. Personally, I just don't trust them because they're going to the standards, not necessarily to what is the best developmental progression. I think there's too much extra stuff. I just want the focus to be certain things over others, even though we talk about it, So I'm I'm just not going to focus on that. I think that'll just sharpen up over time, personally. We talk about the days of the week. Everybody has a planner, except for him right now, but he'll get a planner next year in first grade, and I'll help him with that. But I think of things like that as calendars and stuff just to be part of life skills, as part of planners and organizing your time. And he'll learn to tell time. Just, we have a little play clock and we play with it. It's I just think when he shows more of an interest in it, we'll do it. So I don't want to waste time on my math focus. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, that was a long rant about that. So I thought I would just do some number stories, kind of lessons and how I do them. So we started, like I said, we started this once I felt like he was ready. Sometimes I remember we opened this up and I was like reading it to him and asking him the questions. And he just didn't have the, what's the word? Like language comprehension yet to really answer the questions. So it just wasn't time yet. So we did put this away a couple times and then picked it up, like the next month. But he wanted to hear the stories though. He thought it was like, he thought this is funny. Like he got hit in the head and look at his, sticks his tongue out. No. But, he was able to count. Usually counting is like the first thing you start doing with your kids, right? Like, hey, let's count how many of these we have. 1, 2, right? And you're like, oh, there's 5. Show me 5 on your hand. Doing that kind of stuff. So it starts out kind of, I would say, in that preschool level where you're just kind of counting things. This is hard. Like, they can't read yet. So I don't worry so much about that. I'm more interested in this. Because this will come, hopefully, work on this in kindergarten, but I don't worry about the number words in preschool. Just as you go, and you can repeat lessons. You don't have to, just keep going. You can do it again the next day. Just reread it and see if they get it that time. So, yeah, at the beginning, you see it's, more stories, which is good. So, find the monkey. Do you see JoJo in picture 4? And then they're learning how things can be labeled with numbers, right? That is JoJo, yeah. Find the number. So you'd say count how many, monkeys, then you can find the corresponding number, right? Find the missing number. We did do number lines. I'd say the first number lines we did, see, I used this. This is in, I made these copybooks. The first copybook has these number lines in it. So I would start out, the first goal was just to get from 0 to 12, right? I wanted him to become proficient in all those. And I used to kind of test him once a month or so on if he could write the number, put it on the number line, and write the tally marks for it. Whenever he had, so this was down here for him to practice writing his own, or he could trace this, or we would count forwards and backwards for our warm up and stuff like that. I could call out random numbers like 8, point to 8, right? Stuff like that. We did right pile, wrong pile with flashcards. And then we moved on to through 20 and then through 30. I think this one's in the first copybook too. This was just to practice. He could trace, or he could write, or trace and write. Anyways, so then, so missing numbers, basically number line stuff. Some of it might be easy, all this counting stuff, but he liked the story, so we're just gonna read through it, Count the coconuts, now it's getting up 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. Find the numbers, look at the pictures on the next page. Find the red number on this page that tells, so how many coconuts. So then they count up that, and then they find the number that matches. How many yellow bananas, how many green bananas, right? How many big trees, how many small trees. So they're also getting colors, big and small. They love the story part. Oh, is Jerry as high as JoJo? So there's JoJo's little one up there. So no one's as high as he is, so no. There's Father Monkey and Jerry, and that's JoJo. Is JoJo higher than Jerry? Is Jerry higher than JoJo? Is Father Monkey as high as JoJo? Is Jerry the highest of all? Is JoJo the highest of all? So you can see where they're going with that. Find the missing number. What number should we just after 17? Between? I don't think they have before, but that's good to teach them those numbers after, and that we read numbers left to right, because that's another skill they need to know. It's just kind of built in. They need that for reading too. Everything left to right. Tell the numbers that are missing. You can tell them what a row is. A row goes across. Rows go across. I can't remember what it was, but we talked about that recently for something else too. Large and small, find the page. Who is the biggest monkey on the picture on page 10? So then you're like, oh yeah, look, the pages are numbered. See, another way that we use numbers is to help us find things in our pages. Part 2. Frisky and Tubby. Okay, so I think this is about where we started into my second copybook. was going to show you some of the pages, just kind of show you how we've been doing it. Like, what did we do this day? So I'm just letting the book kind of be my spine. This day, I think I showed this one before, I was following along with this story about Tubby, the bear. We're reading here. Many, more, and most, right? They're learning this concept here. And then you can just, and you can just practice that with manipulatives. So one of my favorite manipulatives to use is these little vase gems. Right? So then you could say, okay, let's pretend we went fishing. You got 3 fish. I got 2 fish, right? Who has the most? 3 is more than 2. Maybe you have somebody else goes fishing with us and they got 4. Then you might ask them, like, can you put those in order from smallest to biggest, from least to most? So I just do a lot of stuff like that just to kind of reinforce concepts that are happening in here. This one was, which is most? 5 bears, 3 bears, or 8 bears. And they have big ones too, 17 fish or 20 fish. And they can also use their number lines, right? You could have them do, where's 17? Right there, where's 20? Right? So the ones that are farther to the right are bigger. You could have them build them with these, right? There's just so much you can do. But it's just nice to have something here, represent it on paper if you can. But I would do that last. Follow a concept, whatever concept is being here, and then somehow do some kind of concrete representation. And then you can put it, if you can put it on paper, you can, or like sometimes I just record what pages we covered, just so I have a record of what I did. Counting to 100. So we did this one for a few days. In this book, in copybook 2, so the first copybook only went to 30, right? But now I've got a hundreds chart. So on this day, we practiced counting up as high as he could go, as he grew the numbers. And then he started having trouble in the 30s. So I put a star because that's where he got with no mistakes. He started making mistakes in here, so I just highlighted it and told him to trace these numbers and, say them. 31, 32, 33. I don't know why, but for some reason, once he got into 30s, he'd go 31, 32, 36, 41, 42, 46. I don't know why. But it took us a couple days, and he's starting to break that habit. He's starting to catch himself. He'll be 31, 32, 36. Wait, no. And you can see the little wheels turning, like 33. So we try to teach him it's 33, to read the numbers left to right. Anyway, so we were counting in here because we kind of followed that. We did this for a few days at this counting chart. And then now they're learning red circles, again, some shapes, blue square. They don't have to get 100%, but just kind of work on that concept, then gone on to the next one. Okay, so we got to here this day. I drew it, and we just did a fact, right? I was kind of showing him how math fact triangle works. 1 + 9. I think this is an old, I actually updated the math sheet, so you'll see it change here in a second. And then the next day, we stayed with that again, because I wanted them to really get the groupings that 100 is 10 tens. So this day, we counted 100 gems. He had 10 boxes in the story, but I didn't have 10 boxes, but I had at least 10 canning lids. We counted at 100 gems. And these work really well. Part of the reason why I like gems is they're flat on the bottom, so they don't roll away, or anything. And we just went through, and I just do this with my hand, and then he counts, and he says 1. If he gets that number right, I open my hand, he takes a gem, and he puts it on the 1. Right, 2, 3, 4, right, 5. Got it right, okay. Put it on there, right? And we went all the way through, and he could have more than one, more than one try to get it right. And if he didn't get it right, I would just tell him, and once he said it right, I'd give him a gem. Anyway, so these got all colored, right? Then we used those, there's 100 of them, and we had 10 of these, right? And then I just put 1 in each. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. So he distributed them. He was dividing by 10. He was dividing 100 by 10, right? And it ended up with 10 of these all full. And we practiced counting by 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Our favorite way to do that actually is to give high 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? Again, I just did a math fact on here. We just took 10 and we said if you take away 8, right, we took away 8, let's say there was 8 over here, 5, 7, 8, how many are left? 2. And 8 plus 2 equals 10. So we were just playing around with this. I'm just trying to get him to understand it. And then I just wrote it out. I showed him how we write that out. We practiced, of course, negative. So minus means less. I feel like I always show you this. Plus means more, and equal means same. Like the more you get them to like move around, I mean, this isn't dead math. Like they're doing something. This day, I had him say all the numbers, but like I just called them out, and he was supposed to point to them. So I gave him a star for the ones he got right the first time, and I circled the ones he got wrong. I feel like, I don't know what was going on this day. I feel like he was just not in the mood. Anyways, so I don't know if you do stuff like that, and then everything that he gets right, I'll have something like this, right? I'll have something like this, and if he gets it right, then I hand him one, or I start making him a prize pile. Oh, you got that one right? Good. Oh, sorry, you missed that one. Okay, try a different one. Point to 20. Oh, yep, that's right. Right? And just have some kind of goal. Like I was just trying to get through 40 that day. And then however many they earn, just let them have like 10 minutes of playtime as a reward with it. So I have them, we do that a lot with stuff. You could do it with Legos. You could do it. Like sometimes I just have a little, actually it's a picnic basket in the schoolroom. And I'll sit by it and I open it up. And you can do this with phonics. You can do this with math concepts, like anything really. But whenever they get it right, I would just reach in and grab some kind of toy out of it and make a pile, and he'd get so excited to see what he was earning, because that's what he was going to get to play with for the next 10 minutes after he was done. Okay, just a little motivation. So this one, again, so I was just teaching him how to write it. So I think we just did, 5, and if I take away 1, now I have 4, but right? Or you could do it 1 plus 4, right? And then you just have them physically do 1 plus, is that the same as 5? Yeah, 5, yep, it is. So we've just been doing that and then practicing how you can write out different equations. Again, if they're like, sometimes you just see that they like reach their limit and it's just forget it they're not going to absorb anymore today. But you can also just do this in their hands. You say, give them 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4. So you have 4. If we add 1, now how many do you have? 5, yeah. So 5 plus 1, or 4 plus 1 is 5. If you have 5 and I take away 1, minus 1, how many do you have? 4, yeah, so 5 minus 1 equals 4. You can just do that too. I'm just trying to get him used to the triangle because I'm going to utilize it. Yeah, you can see, so like we're just continuing on. So I had him just do the 20s through the 40s because he's pretty solid on those. I said blind, orally counting. So without him looking at anything, I just had him count to me, and he couldn't see this, and I was just marking down so everything that was correct. So he missed 1, 2, 3, 4. He didn't get right the first time. It was the transitioning to the, and I wrote down what he said instead. He said 31 instead of 21, and then he said 40 instead of 31. See there, he was saying that at 26 and at 36. So when you do these little types of things like this, it helps you to see where they need like a little focus. Like I don't need to talk about these numbers so much right now. Like you need to focus on these ones, these sequences. We did what I call high 100, right? 10, 20, 30. We're practicing our 10s again. Number storybook. 78 to 81. What was that? It was this one. It was when we filled these up. I did 10 of those, and then we started, he ate a whole box. That means he ate 10, so we take away 10. Now he has 90, right? He can actually count by tens without any help from me. So yesterday we actually practiced. I brought out the Abacus because I know where I'm going. I know I'm going to teach him how to use the Abacus. So every once in a while we get it out. I remember when he taught him how to count to 10. We did this a few times. We just counted by, that is 10. And when the other day we did, let's count to 100 on this. So he just sat down. We just did this. 1, 2. See, I let him do the counting. But if he got it wrong, we'd correct him. And then we counted by tens on here. 10, 20, 30, right? Up to, looks like this, it's 100, right? If we take away 10, and if he didn't know, we just count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Anyways, we just did that forward and backward once. And then just to review, I just didn't want him to forget his tally marks. Since we're talking about things in tens, we just reviewed that. And, oh yeah, this is one of the things I changed. I added a little number line section down here since we were counting by tens that day, and we're kind of just keeping those. He's already been introduced to it, but just every once in a while I'll bring it back up so he doesn't forget. We just did everything in tally marks, right? And then I wanted him to see the number line written out. And you can use any numbers. I mean, it's just 10 ticks, so you can use that within any group of 10. Okay, so then, this was yesterday. And they're blank because we were just doing it like this. Just, 2 minus 1 equals, and then I would leave it blank. And he'd have to think about it and put, whatever I gave him the red ones to do, whatever the answer was. 1, good. And then we'd go 1 plus 1 equals, and he'd do 2, right? And then we'd write it in here. And then I had him make it, and I just made this little note to him that numbers get smaller going to the left, and they get bigger going to the right. So I guess there's two things I'm doing here. I am following along in this, right? And then sometimes I'm just focusing on counting to 100, working on that goal, and then working on simple, just like how subtraction, just getting used to it, and number lines, because he'll need to know those. Okay, so this is today. So today, I'll probably open this back up again. Tubby wanted 100 lumps of sugar, 70 lumps of sugar. Oh, we already did this one. He's answering questions from the story. Yeah. So is Tubby's row of boxes as long as Mother Bear's row? So, I'd probably have them do something like, Tubby has a row of how many? 3. How many does Mother Bear have? Right, if you wanted to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you wanted to compare. Is this as long as this? No. What is it? It's shorter. So this one is longer. Is the fairy's row the shortest? Right. They can see that. They may not need to do that. Good, more good little stories. So really working on, there must be 100 little bears in the wood. So you can tell they're working on that 100 goal too. Missing numbers. See how working with the hundreds chart is going to help them here. More or less. Here's a picture of the money that Betty and Bobby had. Betty's money, Bobby's money. How many pennies did Bobby have? So I like here they're introducing what the coins are. Like this is a penny, right? This is a dime. This is a nickel. And they're just recognizing what the coins are, not necessarily how much money they have, how much change. So he gave a dime to Bobby and 2 nickels to Betty. Betty counted all her money again and put it into her bank. So that's nice. They're kind of introducing which will buy more. So now it jumped up from just what the coins are to what they're worth in a very short amount of time. So that'd be like a section that I probably wouldn't cover all the ground because we will, which is kind of nice because it's kind of like early algebra, right? 1 penny equals 5 cents. It's like the values. But I do have some play money, and so I'm sure we'll use those for that because they're always interested in money. You know what I mean? I was gonna say though that where's my third book? So this is what the math pages I had for this one. But I will say in my third copybook, like I did make the very last page of the third copybook is I did make a little money page, so you can have them cut that out and play with it. I just did it on cardstock. They can draw funny faces on here if they want. But I feel like a lot of people have play money already, but just in case, I did include it in my third copybook, but you could print it off of there if you have these and use it, or you could make your own, whatever. So the third copybook, what does the math page look like? And like you guys, I made these. I'll link them down below for you, and they're super cheap, but like you can make your own math curriculum. So in this one, you see how in the third copybook, I've taken the numbers out because my goal is that he can count to 100 by reading the numbers. My goal for this one is that he can write them in himself, right? And that's why it's blank. And then here is I start wanting to introduce the abacus. So we were doing the math fact families triangles and like number lines with, our concrete objects. You could use these. We could have been doing it with the number rods with them too. This one, I'm going to start teaching how to use the abacus. So it says A, abacus starts here, and I'm just showing everything lined up, right, to the left in the picture. B, draw on starting amount and write figure in blank. So whatever math fact we're working on, I'm going to go to, and in this one too, in the third copybook, I just include a DIY abacus instructions in case I thought that'd be a good hands-on activity. I actually think we are going to do this just for fun and just to kind of give the kids an appreciation of the abacus. I think if they make one, they'll think it's cool. So I'm going to have the real thing here. I also have these abacus flashcards. And so like this is for numbers and place values, 1-digit addition, 2-digit addition. And what they have is the answers on the back so the kids can actually see them, like what the abacus should look like. And let's see, so like 1-digit addition. So I would probably use these with this in the beginning. And I've got some little, explanations of stuff on here. Let's say it says 4 plus 4. Yeah, I printed these on regular paper, not cardstock, so you can kind of see through. I need to reprint those. But I think when I printed these, I was just out of cardstock that day. Okay, so start there, and we're going to draw on. So 4 plus 4. And this doesn't have to be anything like super wild. So 4 plus 4, so we know we're just working on the bottom, is going to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're adding 4 on, right? Have them move over to the right. And so then it's going to be 6 to the left, 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, right? I probably won't even bother with those. And then we're going to write 4. And then we're going to write, it's a plus. We're going to add, right? Right? See, right? Plus or minus. And then what's it telling us to do? 4. So that plus 4, I'm just going to write, I'm adding 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? What should it look like? 1, 2, 3, 4. Should look like this. We should end up with 8 on the right, 2 on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2 over here. And the answer is, equals 8. So it's got some instructions here. And then they can flip this over and see, yep, that is what it looks like. I got it right. But I'm not sure. You can put them in there might be an easier order. These ones I think are just working within 10 mostly, because that's usually where we want to start the kids, right? And then I could have them like, how do you translate that into a math fact triangle? Or you could do, or check your answer on the number line. So if we're going between 8, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because we're just working in that bottom row of ones. So if we say, oh, we started on 4, and then we added 4, so do we go left or right? We go right. 1, 2, 3, 4. The answer is 8. That matches what I got here. Check, check. Put your work into a math fact triangle. You don't have to do this all in the first go, but just like I'm gonna probably just like start here, and then we're gonna like add on components. So then from this we know that 8 is 4 plus 4, and then we know we fill that in. So 8 minus 4 equals 4, right? And so then you could say, what are all the equations that we can learn from this? So we knew 4 plus 4 equals 8. We know it goes, right, you go one way, you can go back the other way. 4 plus 4 equals 8, right? But those are the same. And then we can start at the top. 8 minus 4 equals 4, right? 8 minus 4 equals 4. So it's going to be the same going this way just because this happens to be the same number. But if this was like, you know, a different number, if this was 10 and 8 and 2, those would be 4 different equations. So we'd say, oh, these are the same and these are the same. So it's really those two. They're learning how to use number lines. They're learning how to use the abacus. They are learning how to write equations. They are learning to understand math fact triangles, which if you want to use the math fact triangles for all of your memorizing of all the math facts, including, you know, division and multiplication, like we do, I was like, I might as well show it to them now, kind of getting them using it. But again, you could just stick to just this, right, at first, and just build up. If all this extra is confusing, then just do this. There's plenty of time. Remember, this is the 3rd copybook, and for me, I plan on using 5 for kindergarten, right? And I think the rest of the books, 4 and 5, I think the math, it just stayed the same because like we're just going to be working on math facts basically. And then you can start using this for skip counting, you know, 5s, 10s, 2s, and stuff like that. And you just use it for that or whatever you want to use it for. We want this to be open, very open-ended. And if you want to do extra stuff like money stuff, right, then just do the money stuff. I would do it more, I consider it, you know, kind of like in the realm of the extra stuff. So I always have this like totally open-ended page for like if you want to do science, or if you wanted to teach them how to do time, or you wanted to teach them money, or if you wanted to focus on shapes. I think, which book is it that I gave shapes in? I don't know if it was maybe I confused these, but one of them, 3rd or 4th, I give, you know, a print and cut shapes. So that might be, we could do whatever we want with these. We can print these as many times as we want. And yeah, try to identify them, count their sides, whatever. So you can do, I would just do extra stuff here probably, or some other subject. Anyway, so once I get through storybook 1, if I'm, you know, still going, I'm assuming we'll get through that sometime in the, you know, kindergarten, and that we'll move on to Number Stories book 2. And we've got some new characters. I just love the pictures. Fun with pets. So now I'll give you 10 minutes. See, they're kind of starting to talk about time. They ran to the 4th stall, so like placement. Let's see, where do they end up? Oh, so here we're talking about calendars, days of the week. Missing numbers, right? Here's more math facts. We're going to be using our those pages I was working with. Row, column. So I love these books. They just work them in so well. Putting away books. It's a good little review test. 12 inches or 1 foot measuring. So they're gonna get their little ruler out and measure some stuff. I just love these. I love these books. That is just my thoughts. I thought I would just show you guys that stuff. You don't have to get anything expensive or like overkill. Just do like little by little. just have something that is the spine. I'll try to find you links to these in the public domain for printing. And then I know some people use Everyday Math, Wentworth, which I like. I just liked these better. But those are other things that you can print off for free to use as your spine of your math curriculum, especially early on. Yeah, don't forget to like give them little breaks, like give them a little play break. Like their attention span isn't, you can't like, take it too much out of them. You still have to teach them how to like read and other things too. It's not like all day, every day is math. So leave something left over for the other subjects. Okay. Well, I hope that gave you some good ideas for teaching math, like easy, simple, inexpensive, fun. Just don't let math be dead. Don't let it be a punishment. Okay. All right, have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
And I just made a 150 little dots, and I wanted you guys to show it to Dad.
Okay, you get to pick a star to put on your page.
Here we go.
Good job. Maybe I do a red in the middle. Can you make a picture? Okay.